Hey guys, my name is Lala Rosa. Thank you for pressing the play button. I'm very excited because this is like my very first beauty tutorial YouTube page. And I've had many requests and I'm here to grant you your wishes. And I hope you guys enjoy this makeup and beauty adventure as much as I will. And let's get started. So this part 1 of my 4th of July makeup tutorial is pretty exciting because I'm going to break everything down to you from skincare, primer, foundation. So let's talk about skincare and primer. So the primer and skincare routine that I would be using is the strobe cream. Strobe cream is like a wake me up for the skin. Good for dull skin, oily skin, dry skin, basically all skin types. It gives your skin like that natural morning glow. So you can actually incorporate it and mix it into your foundation and you will notice the luminosity in your skin. It's like very natural. It's nothing dramatic, but this is what I've been using. And my primer is the Moisture Infusion, and it's by MAC Cosmetic, of course. And it's a prep and prime. Basically, it's a primer. So what I would do is apply this on, but normally what I do is incorporate the two together. And this particular primer actually hydrates your skin, tightens your pores, and keeps your makeup on throughout the day. It's very important to wear a primer because you want your makeup to stay on. It's the same concept of painting a wall. If you don't have your primer, what happens to the paint? It strips right off. So that's the same concept with makeup. If you don't have your primer on, your makeup will separate or would not last throughout the day. I guarantee you. There's many different primers, many different skincares. It's best that you talk and talk to a makeup consultant with MAC and see what works for you because everyone's skin is different. In my case, my skin is oily down the middle and then normal to dry around the rim. So that's why I'm using these two. I actually love the luminosity to my skin. I like the glow and I need my hydration at the same time. So just so you guys know, I'm putting everything on a Petri dish. You can get one of these bad boys on Amazon for like, I think $7 or $10. I can't remember how much I paid for this, but this is a really good tool for me because it helps me keep everything in order so I don't have to go running looking for everything. So basically, I'm going to go ahead and just pinch a little bit of the strobe cream and primer onto my Petri dish. Just very little. You do not need a lot. Just like basically a dime size. And at the same time, I'm going to put my foundation on here as well. MAC Cosmetics has many different foundations. However, it's best to pick the foundation that works for you. And the foundation that I'll be using today is called Face and Body. Face and Body is one of my favorite. It's like a light to medium coverage. It is buildable. However, if you want coverage, like I said, there's so many different foundations out there with MAC. There's something for everyone. So if you want like a heavy full coverage, there's so many different ones. If you want something lightweight, if you want medium coverage, if you want something natural looking, dewy looking, there's so many different foundations. So let's get started. Enough talking. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and apply on my strobe cream and moisture infusion. So what I did was mix the two together and I'm applying it on. So I'm making sure that I'm actually rubbing it really good into the skin. All right, so after that, I'll be applying on my face and body. Face and body to me is amazing because you can use it for both your face and body. It's one of my favorite everyday to go foundations. and I absolutely love it. So basically what I'm doing is warming it up and onto the palette, and I'm going to just, I think I need a little bit more. So I'm going to grab a little bit more. And the color that I'm using today is C7. I'm normally an NC45, so maybe a C7 will work for you, but you want to try to use something that is your skin tone. I absolutely love this foundation. This foundation looks so pretty on the skin. I just want evenness on, you know, to my skin. I don't want anything, I don't want much coverage, because I'm going to get that with my powder, which I'll talk about later on. But yeah, this is basically how I put my foundation on. Now that I have completed this stage, we are going to go ahead and move on to our eyebrows. And we're not done yet because we have to blend this all up really, really well to get that nice, smooth luminosity to the skin. So let's go ahead, grab your brush. The brush that I'll be using is the 159 brush by MAC Cosmetic. It's a dual fiber brush. You can actually use this for both liquid and powder products. So this is what I'm going to use to buff out my skin. So I'm going to give you guys a couple of minutes to go ahead and buff that in, all right? So make sure you're buffing everything in. When you get to the eye area, please do not buff so aggressively, because the eye area is the thinnest muscle in your body. So you're going to keep doing this until it's completely dry. So there we go. There. So now I'm going to go ahead and work on my eyebrows, and some of the tools that I will be using for my eyebrows are the following. I'm going to use an eyebrow pencil to map out my brows. I'm going to also use a powder as well. So the one pencil that I absolutely love from MAC Cosmetics is this very thin retractable eyebrow pencil. And then I also use this brush, which is basically to groom the hairs. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and groom the hair up, 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 so I can figure out the shape of my brows. Once I'm done doing that, I'm going to grab this retractable pencil. Just keep in mind that you can only turn this up, not down. So you want to turn it up very little at a time. So basically, I'm lightly mapping it out. I'm not using it too much to fill it in. It's more to map it out. I'm only filling it in just very little, not too much, just enough. Okay, so now that I'm done with that, I'm going to keep this close by in case I may need it. So I'm going to go ahead. I have my 263 brush, which is an angle brush, natural hair. And then I have my palette that I personally customize on my own. This is like my own. So you can actually purchase this palette for $5 and then fill whatever eyeshadow in there for $6. So you're just purchasing the palette for one time only, and then you're coming back to refill it for $6, which is not bad. But you know, MAC has a whole bunch of eyebrow technology, and you can actually see what works for you. There's many different ones out there. I just decided to do powder because I feel like it looks more soft. It gives it more of a softer appearance. Whereas some people like to use a pencil, like all over. I mean, to each his own with your brows. Because that's something, to me, I feel like that's something personal. It's between the artist or the customer and their brows. Because they know how they like their brows. Just like, you know, we're all picky about certain things like our hair, our nails. Everybody got their own look, man. So, now that I am doing the other brow, all I'm doing is basically filling it in more with the powder than the pencil. It took me a while to figure out what worked for me, and I felt like that this worked for me pretty well. I mean, everyone has their different preference, but like I mentioned before, I like the powder look because it's softer. Okay, so I'm going to step back, look at my brows, and say to myself, okay, does it look slightly symmetrical? Because remember, your brows are sisters, not twins. Okay, so I think I'm done with my brows. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to grab my 208 brush, which is a synthetic hair type of angle brush. Very fine. And what I like to do is grab my concealer. Mind you, as a reminder, I'm an NC45, so I'm going to do a shade lighter in my concealer, which is NC42. And I'm going to clean the brows. So you want to go slightly below it. And create that natural shape. What I'm going to do is slightly bring it down. So I'm going to go ahead and do the other side as well. This part is optional. You don't have to do this. It's not mandatory. So I tell people, I'm like, you don't have to do this. You can actually skip this part and go straight into your eyeshadow routine. But I like to do this. So now that I'm done, and by the way, if you guys must know what I use a Studio Finish concealer. Like I said, you want to speak to a consultant and getting the right color for you. And if you don't want it so bright, just stick with your natural skin tone or use the foundation. So now I'm going to take the foundation using this 242 brush. It is in synthetic hair, flat tapered brush, and I'm going to go ahead and use that on the top, very top of my brows. Some people like to use concealer on the top. That's not my thing. I like to use foundation. There. Eyebrows on fleek, boo. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and do the other side. Nice. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and just slightly blend this down a little bit. And blend this down a little bit. And then I'm going to do this in the middle. Your eyebrow is technically supposed to start where your tear duct is. So this is where I like to do this to verify that these brows are lined properly. Cool, done. So we're gonna go ahead and get started with eyeshadow. And with eyeshadow, the most important thing in my book is the paint pot, the famous paint pot. This paint pot is a cream solution. It is a color base. However, I use it as a primer, eyeshadow primer. And the reason why is because it doesn't cause any creasing. I absolutely love this, and it dries really fast. It allows the colors to pop and stand out. Not only that, but it keeps the longevity of your eyeshadow on throughout the day as well as night. So I'm going to use the same brush, the 242 brush, and I'm going to go ahead and just dip it into it. And go ahead and apply it right across the lid, very close to the lash line, and work my way up. And I'm meeting this product with the concealer that I brought down earlier. As you guys saw, as I was cleaning up my brows with the NC42. So I'm actually meeting the two together, marrying the two together, so that way it doesn't look like a separation between the two. So once I'm done doing that, I'm going to go ahead and get started on my eyeshadow, which is on my lid. And I'm using a 239 brush. It's a flat, fluffy, tapered brush. And I'm using the warm palette today. So the warm palette that I'm using is the last row, first eyeshadow. I'm going to go ahead and just move that around in there and press it. So this is going to be my 4th of July look. I hope you guys like it because I thought it was very, very cute. Once again, I do thank you guys for your support, and don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up. And don't forget to leave your thoughts below. Let me know what exactly you guys want to see. I mean, I'm just going to go ahead and do what I normally do. But, you know, I'm open for suggestions, idea, thoughts, whatever. So let's get back. So I'm going to use the second row, first eyeshadow with the 244 brush. It's a fluffy blending brush, and I'm going to press underneath the brows. Press, 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 press. Dip it in again and press. And then blend it. There, that way it looks like one married couple. All right, so let's go ahead and do the other side. I'm using the same brush, 242 brush, flat tapered synthetic, and I'm actually applying the Lane Low paint pod color base. And basically, I chose this color, once again, I mentioned earlier, because it's very close to my skin tone. That way it allows my eyeshadow products to be universal, eyeshadow texture as well as color to be universal. So this will not change the color or texture of whatever eyeshadow I decide to use. It will just allow it to stick, stay put, and allow the colors to pop. Like I said, there's other options. There's other colors for other skin types. If you're a shade darker than me, I would consider using Groundworks. If you're a shade lighter than me, maybe Soft Ochre or Painterly. So you might want to look into that. Just very little, and once again, I just married the two products together. And I'm gonna go ahead and seal this up. You always wanna make sure you keep your paint pot sealed tight. If not, it'll dry up and you will be one disappointed person. I guarantee you it's happened to me before, where I've left it open and went to work, came back, my product was ruined and I was very upset. So I'm gonna go back. Warm palette, third row, first eyeshadow. And we're going to press. Make sure I get a good amount on there. And then what I'm going to do is grab my 244 brush. And I'm doing the same color. Second row of the warm palette, first eyeshadow. Pressing. Do it again, press it. So the amount of times that you do one eye, please do the other, because so that way it looks symmetrical and even. So there. So now that I've done that, I'm going to continue on with this palette. And I am going to use the brown that's in this palette, which is the first row, fifth eyeshadow. Fifth eyeshadow. First row, fifth eyeshadow. Okay, let's see. So I'm going to start from the corner and work my way across. Notice how I'm holding my brush. You want to make sure you hold your brush at the very end. And just blend. Please blend. Like a windshield wiper. So I'm going to do it again. This eye. And blend. So I'm blending. Do this twice. This is going to be my transition color. This is the color that I add into the crease. There, see? Okay, make sure everything is fully blended. There. I think I'm gonna add a little bit more on that side, because I feel like this side has more. I don't know if it's the way I'm sitting. Just to be safe. Perfect. So now that I'm done, I'm going to go ahead, and at this point you can actually stop while you're here, or you can keep going. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my concealer. Actually, you know what? No, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go ahead and grab my eyeliner. This is the technical eyeliner. It is called Smooth Blue. And I'm going to go ahead and line my eye all the way across. This technical is smudge proof, water resistant. It's not waterproof, it's water resistant. So it is easy to come off with makeup remover. Be very gentle around the eye area. And what I'm going to do is, to make this exciting, is I'm going to grab the color called Fresh Water, and I'm going to press it right above, right over the eyeshadow that I just applied on to make it more so intense, intensify it. See that? You know I gotta add my blue for my 4th of July makeup look. So I'm gonna press it, press it, press it. So this is actually gonna seal the liner, but also intensify it. This color, once again, is called Fresh Water, with the technical liner called Smooth Blue. So I did Smooth Blue first, and then Smooth Blue technical eyeliner, and then followed by Fresh Water on top of it. So I'm using the angle brush that I used earlier for the brows. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and put that down. And the next thing I'm going to do is grab my 217 brush, and I'm going to go ahead and go a little bit harder on the crease. So I'm going to blend that in. I'm going to use the 5th eyeshadow on the 2nd row, as well as the 4th eyeshadow on the 1st row. And I'm going to take it and press it, and I'm going to blend. See that? Okay, so we're going to go 5th, 2nd row, 4th, 1st row. And we're going to press it, starting point, and bring it in. A little bit more drama, right? So once I'm done with that, I'm going to go ahead and blend that using my 224 brush to soften it. All right, so you guys, I'm going to stop right here. This is part 1 of my 4th of July makeup tutorial. Continue watching, because the next part 2 is going to talk about highlighting and contouring and the rest of my makeup. I'll see you guys in a couple of minutes, and stay tuned.